Are you stuck in a cycle of debt? Let's talk about it. I'm Nate, I'm the FitfutureMD. Check out Ensorsale.com. Pick you up a cool, inspirational t-shirt today. Use code FitfutureMD for 20% off if you are interested. Now, so are you stuck in the cycle of debt, right? So, just imagine, that life is a game, right? You may have heard this analogy, you may not have, but imagine that life is a game, and you're on the board, and you're playing Monopoly, right? And you never buy anything on the Monopoly board. You just go around paying everyone else, right? That's how most people are living their life, right? Most people are not taking advantage of the system that they're living in, right? And then there'll be and you'll hear things like, the system is rigged against you. Little man can't get ahead, or, stuff like that, right? And the reason for that is because you're stuck in a cycle of debt. You're buying things that cost you money more every month than, buying things that pay you money, right, every month, right? And when you start to realize that time is your only real currency, any kind of money you make without using your time is what I call an infinite money glitch, right? Because your time is actually your only real currency, right? So when you buy things using debt, you increase the amount of time that you have, you increase the amount of time you have to work to pay off that item, right? Instead of doing the opposite way around, where you build an asset that pays for the item that you want, right? So when you do that, when you use debt to buy things, you basically become somebody else's asset, right? Because you're paying them every month for that item that you purchased, and they're making money off of you, right? And they're doing it with them not having to work. So you are their infinite money glitch. You are their infinite money glitch, right? So how do you get out of a system of debt? When you're stuck in this cycle, you have to switch what you're doing, right? You have to say, okay, I'm not buying anything on debt. I'm only purchasing assets from now on that pay me. And when those assets get big enough for me to purchase things like a truck, like a boat, like a RV, like ATVs, all this fun stuff that we like to play around with in the country, when your assets get big enough to purchase those without you having to work, then you can purchase them, right? And we're going to take advantage of things called compound interest, right? And compound interest is where, you have an investment that makes money. You reinvest that money into that investment, and you keep doing that over and over and over again, right? And so the interest gets stacked on top of what you already have in. It makes more money, and it gets stacked again, and that's called compound interest. And it's not to be confused with, a lot of people think that what's called appreciation is compound interest, and appreciation is not compound interest, okay? So if a stock goes up in price, that's not compound interest. So you can invest for many things. One is appreciation. The other one is for compound interest, basically where you're making money off the thing that you bought. So that's considered like a dividend, and you reinvest that dividend and make more money. Right? So that's called, when you reinvest and make more money, that's called compound interest. When the stock price itself goes up, that is called appreciation, right? Now, there is something called, what I call the infinite money glitch, right? And that's where you basically have what's called an infinite return. You have no money invested in something, and it's continuing to pay you, right? So you see that with the Burr method in real estate, obviously, which I really don't participate in currently, or you see it in stocks that double up in price, appreciate. You sell half, get your original amount back, and then you have what's called an infinite return. Now, I've done this several times, or as long as it's an infinite return, as long as the business is as long as the stock is still available, right? Let's say, and I've done this several times over the last 4 years. And honestly, most of the time those stocks go to zero, but it gave you an extra opportunity to invest somewhere else, right? But it would be considered the infinite money glitch if it actually worked. If you invested in Amazon, Netflix, Tesla, all those things at the beginning in their IPOs, Google, then you would have been able to do the infinite money glitch. No problem, right? So those are some of the things that you're looking for when it comes to getting out of a system of debt, right? You're looking for things that appreciate, especially when you're a normal person, right? So say you only have $5,000 to invest, right? If you put $1,000 into something and in 2 weeks it goes to 2,000, and you take 1,000 out, you now have $6,000 to invest instead of 5, right? Obviously, the high end of that is going to decrease, right? Because you sold half the amount you had, right? So if you bought Tesla at $10 and got 300 shares, it doubled up, and you sold 150 and kept the under 150. You're not going to have 300 times. You're not going to have 300 times 100 when it went to $100 a share. You're going to have 150 times 100, right? But it's still an infinite return because you have $0 invested in it, right? So keep that in mind, that when you take money off the table, you do reduce the amount that you can actually earn at the end, right? So like I say, anyone who invests in Tesla is basically investing for appreciation. They're not investing for, a dividend or compound interest, right? So, but basically, you have to build assets, right? You have to go around the monopoly board and purchase things, right? Purchase things that pay you. Purchase assets, right? And over time, those assets can build on each other, and then eventually, the assets are paying for your lifestyle, right? You don't have to, and it almost like, especially if you're young, if you're in your 20s, man, make sure that you make this like the best game of your life. You're just having a blast purchasing assets with everything you got, and you're chilling at home, watching Netflix, and letting your assets just grow, right? But if you're stuck in this cycle of debt, you have to get out of debt. You have to do whatever it takes. So if that means you got to get second jobs, third jobs, side hustle flips, whatever you need to do to get out of debt, you got to do it, and you got to do it quick, because you are an asset for somebody else. You are basically a slave to somebody else, right? When you're in a cycle of debt. So you got to get out as fast as possible. Don't let the system go against you. Use the system to your advantage. I'm Nate. I'm the FitfutureMD. Shop at Ensorsale.com, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.